Familynestacademy, a place where families are empowered to fulfill their destiny, a place where families can build legacy, a place where families can enjoy a wholesome and fulfilling life. And more.
Hello, welcome back to Familynestacademy series on the family realities behind closed doors. And yes, I am still your host, Princess Francisca Obichinizi. Today we'll be talking about important issues that happen in families that sometimes we don't see it coming. We don't even take cognizance of it happening, and maybe because we think it's not common, we don't see it as what it is. So today we'll be talking about parents who are jealous of their children. Does it sound odd? Maybe. But is it happening? Yes. Have I experienced it or seen it happen? Yes, I've seen it. So I'll tell us this story. There's this young man I know who grew up, of course, being abandoned by the father, and the excuse was that due to life difficulties, the father had to leave the mom with the children to travel to find a better, or what we call greener pasture. And then this father of his decided to find another woman as part of his greener pasture and abandoned this child and the siblings. After a very long time, he returned back. However, he returned back, but he kept the other woman wherever he had been. And then the children were suffering. The woman was suffering. This woman, unfortunately, had to pass away. And the man, yes, like I said, the man returned, tried to reconcile, to carry the children. Of course, the family of the woman was resistant due to what has happened. No one will be happy to see what happened to their sister, isn't it? So there was a bit of fight and all that. After a very long struggle and hurdles, they find their way together as a family. And because this guy has grown up, he knew better. He was still trying to reconcile the fact that his father abandoned him and his sibling to marry another wife when their mom was alive. However, he didn't have any option, so he struggled his way under the second wife and the father who rarely took responsibility. And then God showed him mercy. He was able to go to school, started doing something, working, having his business, and he was sending some token to the father. But consistently he observed that his father kept finding fault, picking on him, not thinking that he's doing enough, while on the outside he wants to show that he's proud of him. Of course, people are watching, and somehow this child felt that his father was jealous of his progress, because he thought that his father didn't expect him to do so well, being that he wasn't actively part of his life growing up. So his father was looking for where to hold him as a failure, because he wasn't the one who raised him, trying to still find a way of picking on the late wife as not being able to do a good job. Then I asked myself, what right does this man have to question the credibility of the woman who raised the children he abandoned? However, these things are not talked about. He still comes to ask the child for support, welfare, and all that. However, consistently, this child has felt that the father is never satisfied with his progress in life. Okay? And that brings us to our topic of today. Outside this, we've had stories of parents who somehow feels that their children are overshooting or are doing so well, either because what they dreamt of becoming, they didn't achieve it in that short time their children are achieving it. Does every or most parents want their children to prosper? Yes, they do. But sometimes we don't understand what trauma does to us. Trauma of the things we were not able to do or achieve or become. Seeing it in our children. Sometimes, instead of becoming a point of celebration, it becomes a point of pain and jealousy and envy. We may not boldly come out to say it, but our reactions, overreactions, actions around those achievements becomes something that, even though our children may not call it out, feel that they become a feeling of that their parents are not supportive, or that their parent is envy or bitter about the progress they are making. Are we saying that parents should celebrate children who are doing illegal stuff to make money? No, it's not about money. It's about success, progress, seeing a child do well in areas of life that we were not able to do while at their age. It's something that requires emotional maturity, okay? Because sometimes you see these people smile in public, because of course it will be odd not to celebrate your child. However, in their homes, they don't really embrace and celebrate this child's achievement. You see them finding a way of criticizing it and maybe even trying to relegate it, not because the child is not good enough, but because that bitterness in them don't allow them to see clearly. Sometimes it becomes it becomes more like perfectionism, trying to pick at the area of fault instead of elaborating the area the child is doing well. So you see them magnifying the child's weakness or the fault. Okay? I'll also tell us the story of one guy. I'll call his name Tolu, because of this is a social area. Okay? She was the first in her family to graduate with honors. Okay? Well, on the day of her graduation, do you know what the mom said? It's not a big deal. I could have done better if I had her opportunities. What do you think this child felt like. She smiled, right? But something in her was not the same again. So, because she was thinking that this achievement was not just a great deal for her, but also for her family, especially her mom. But I believe the mom did not realize the impact and the effect in her girl child. She realized that her mom wasn't clapping because she was proud of her. She was clapping because others were watching her. The mom was swallowing in bitterness and jealousy that even her might not have recognized at that point that that was what it was. So why we talk about this and why I brought this is to help us realize the hard truth. Okay? Not every parent is emotionally healthy enough to handle a child who shines when they had to dim their own light by daily struggle, daily labor to just make sure they take responsibility and help these children grow, pay for all the necessary resources they need to grow. They do it out of sacrifice, out of necessity, out of, yes, it's their responsibility as parents to do all those things. But deep down, because some of them lose the opportunities they also need to become whom they have dreamt with due to this stage of life, they sometimes don't realize when they begin to develop bitterness and anger and jealousy. So you see, some of them begin to see potentials of their children, which reminds them of what they could have been. I understand it's difficult, okay? How sometimes the dreams of their children begins to reflect or echo the disappointment of them not being able to achieve their own dreams. The truth is that some parents sacrifice a lot of things, and that is why we have to be careful to balance life as parents. Don't kill your dream because you want your children to fly. Give them the best shots, but alongside, keep doing things that will help you actualize your dream. You may not get to that very height, but keep doing things that give you satisfaction and fulfillment. Excuse me. When you find your path in your own destiny fulfillment, it's easier to enjoy seeing your children achieve their own dream because you did not kill your own dream in the process of them fulfilling their own dream. Okay? We should also remember that even Saul became jealous of David at a point because David was able to achieve some things Saul ever dreamt of: the accolade, taking off Goliath that was threatening him and his kingdom. Even though he had the throne, but David had the favor which he was seeking after. And that was how jealousy poisoned the partnership that would have existed between both. Sometimes the rise of our children could be a partnership to even help us shine from their own corner. Okay? let's be conscious of this, because jealousy from parents, they are not always loud. Sometimes it can be in form of comparison, sometimes it can come as a sarcasm, sometimes it could be that subtle shrinking of your success. They begin to withdraw, they begin to refuse to support in some areas and all that. But let's all be clear, okay? The light of your children is not your threat. It's not disloyalty. Their light is even meant to shine in your own path, because they are in your lineage and it's part of your legacy building. It's not rebellion for your children to rise, rather it's an opportunity for you to also shine. God didn't call you to dim, to make others comfortable. Like I said, you can shine along with your children. Kindly reflect on your ways and your paths and find a way of making progress as you are supporting your children make progress. Familynestacademy will be happy to have you walk this journey of building a family that fulfills purpose and of course leaves a legacy. Do have a lovely day. Subscribe and yes, put on your notification button and remember to invite others. Let's know those areas you think you should be working on in your life so they don't become an instrument of jealousy in the future. Do take care and